red on the color selection here. So you choose red, then we show red here. It's like a color preview, so a person has not only the text red saying, they also have the color red, so they know what their crosshair's color is going to be. So that should make sense there to you. So then we've got that, and then all we have to do, we have quite a few things to do still. We're going to create our update crosshair function, which is a bit of a long one there. Private void update crosshair. There's a couple of things you just got to do. So so if is not loaded, or fuck's sake, stop auto completing. Crosshair started. Yeah, so if it's not loaded or the crosshair hasn't started yet, just return. Okay, and there's a couple more checks that we got to do. So if game window dot selected index index equals -1. -1 is when nothing's selected. Okay, we just say please select value application. Yeah, so we say messagebox.show. We're just going to copy and paste this a couple of times in a second. .show please select a valid application. Okay, so that should be there. And then we say default button run text. Yeah, so just give me a second here because I may have made a mistake. Yeah, no, that's fine. So we're going to call a function that we also haven't created, which we'll do in a second. Default run button text. Don't worry about this for now, we'll create that in a second. And then we return, because it's not okay because they haven't selected a window. So once again, we're going to copy this a couple of times for the other combo boxes. Just give ourselves some space. Copy and paste, and our next one is our color picture combo box. Sorry. Please select a valid color. So if you haven't chosen a color, we don't really want to do anything there. This is just to prevent crashes and stuff like that. So and the last one is our default a valid, call it size. That's fine. If color process size, is that what it is? Or size, yeah, combo box. That's it. So we've got all these. Now let's create this function here just to do it. So we'll create it just below here. So void default run text button text. That should be alright. So activate button.text. So run button.text equals. So all this does here. So let's just do this bit. All this does here is if you are unable to run it when you click the button or press the hotkey, then we change the text. Instead of saying stop F5, we change the text to run F5. So give them a chance to turn it back on again. Actually, there's one label we forgot to do. This one here. Just call it on-off label. On-off label. So on-off label dot text equals off, because we haven't been able to turn it on. So on-off label dot for color equals color dot red. Oh, for crap's sake, color dot red. And there you go. So all we do is we change it. You don't have to do the last part because this is a little bit demanding on systems. So you don't have to do that last part if you don't want to. So that's it. That part is done there. Let's continue with our update crosshair function here. So we've got So all we say here is we say if overlay, I think is what we called it, didn't we? Yeah. Dot sorry, is not equal to null. We open this and we say overlay form dot stop thread. We haven't created that there either. So stop thread. We're better off just creating all our functions and methods here, and then doing the same on the other side, because otherwise we have to keep coming backwards and forwards, and that's no fun. So then you say system dot threading dot thread dot sleep for 50 milliseconds. So what happens here is we say stop thread because that's going to be running on a different independent thread. We stop that other thread and then we give it 50 milliseconds to make sure the thread gets killed, so we don't create a new one over that one, because that will cause us problems. So we need to make sure we do it this way. So if new form, overlay form dot thread over, that's going to be a variable there as well. Thread over overlay form dot close. So we wait 50 milliseconds for the thread to close. Once it's closed, we call that method to kill the whole form. So else return. So it didn't close for some reason, something went wrong, we return. We leave that running. When we come back next time, hopefully it would have killed it. So if overlay form, that's fine. So overlay form equals new. Exactly, so we call that, and obviously we haven't got a constructor yet, which will need to have a couple of things. So we're gonna cause ourselves some more errors here. So game window combox dot selected item dot toString. Make sure you say item and not index. And yeah, so we do that comma. Once again, ignore the errors. So crosshair choice. Do we have our crosshair choice variable? Did we declare crosshair choice at the top? Choice. No, we didn't. That's fucking gay. Let's check. Yeah, there should have been a variable at the top called crosshair choice. Int crosshair choice. No, I didn't declare that. So int crosshair choice. And all this is going to do is keep track of what crosshair we are dealing with. So equals 0. Alright, I'm going to go into pay attention mode. I'm going to turn my light on in my room quickly because it's a little bit dark for my typing to hopefully improve. Alright, so crosshair choice equals 0, and we call that, and we go down there to the bottom. We haven't declared it, so let's go back down to the bottom. So we send crosshair choice in there, which you'll understand why in a second, or 2, or 3. So that's fine. And then we also got to send what crosshair color we're dealing with. So crosshair colors. Once again, we do that and we say color, comma box dot selected index. Okay, dot color, dot col. So that returns the actual color. And then we say final one is scale, size, comma box dot selected index. So we want to know what size you want to go. 0, 1, and 2, which will be small, medium, and the larger one. So it's just like getting some food, pretty much. So I'll do that, and ignore the errors for now, guys. We don't really care about them unless you got OCD, then you're in trouble. But please ignore them for now. Form dot show, and then we show our form. Okay. If you got a really weak computer, just go with show dialog instead, because that way you only run everything on one thread, I think. So that shouldn't be too bad. Activate. Run button. Run button dot text equals stop, and that's why we've got that other function we created out of this. Stop F5, and then we say on off label dot text equals capital on. All right, and then we say on off label dot color. It's full color equals color dot lime. Alright, so once again, if you want to get rid of this one, do so, because it may slow down your system a little bit if you're always turning it on and off. Alright, so we've got a couple of errors here, and we're going to have to do a couple more things here. So we're going to have to create a function called run crosshair. So one thing that we forgot to create was our timer. So let's create a timer here. This timer is going to be used to check for things. So where's our timer we're going to create? So TTT for time. I always take ages doing these things. You guys probably seen it about 10 times by now. So timer. Let's create our timer, and I'm just gonna go on my version here. Key state. So I'm gonna call this one the key state timer, because this one's gonna be looking out for us pressing certain keys. Key state timer. All right. So that should be good there. And there's a couple of things we're gonna set here. We're gonna set this 50 and enabled to true by default. 50 interval and true and private. Yeah, that seems all fine to me. Let's just double click on it so we can start the event, and let's just go here. So a couple of things we're going to do here is going to say int key input equals key input. You want to go here API dot get key state, and what this is going to check is what key step we're pressing on our keyboard. So we're going to go 0 times 74, which is a hex number there. 0 times 74 equals F5, okay? So if you want to check all the different keys online, Google virtual key codes, and it's probably the first link that'll come up, and use those numbers to choose whatever key you want to use here. So then we say if, oh fucking hell, if, open 2 of them, key input and 0 times 8000. I believe that is to check that it's actually properly pressed down. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. I've had to check this a couple of times now. Open and close our variables here. So then we say if able to hotkey again, able to hotkey again. So all this is doing is so we don't press it multiple times a second. Able to hotkey again equals false. Run crosshair. That's something we want to create in a second as well. And then we say else on. Make sure it's else on the wrong one, on this one here. This is a mistake that I make, and I know some of you guys also make sometimes because you ask me about them. Able to hotkey again equals true. Okay, so if you haven't pressed it, actually, what is this for? I was thinking, create this for a reason. I don't remember. I don't remember right now. I know I used this method on my aimbot as well, which proved quite useful, but let's not worry about this for now. So let's create our run crosshair function. So once again, let's just call this here as well, so we don't forget this. So run, there you go, call it there as well. So run crosshair is going to be like this. So call it below here, it doesn't really matter. So void run crosshair. Get rid of those errors immediately right there. So run crosshair, and then we say if run button dot text dot contains the word run in there. Run. Let's close that. Just run. So we say crosshair started equals true. Update crosshair. Alright, we call that to update. Else, if it doesn't equal run, we say default button, what do we call it? Default run. Yeah, there you go. Just call that function so we can reset everything. So if overlay form is not equal to null, we say overlay form dot stop thread. Where's stop thread? Stop thread. Oh, we haven't created that yet. I forgot. Stop thread. Yeah. So call that function there. So stop thread. Then we say system dot threading dot thread dot sleep dot 50 milliseconds. So if overlay form dot thread over. Once again, these aren't gonna autocomplete themselves because they're not actual variables. We say overlay form dot close, else return. So if thread isn't over, we don't close the form and just return. Yeah, so only close our form object if our thread is open. Yeah, so I was just reading from my comments there, if you hopefully understand that. So overlay that stop thread, yeah, that seems fine. System. Yep, all this seems fine. So that's our run crosshair there done. Yeah, that seems about right. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes here. We've got our else there, which covers everything. Yeah, that's fine. Let's close this and get rid of some of those. Void run crosshair. And that closes there. Then you've got that one. Yep, that seems fine to me. What are we missing here? So we're going to have a couple of errors, nothing too special. Just trying to think if I've missed anything else here. Yeah, I have missed a couple of things. So we're going to have to change what happens whenever one of these is pressed. So let's start here. So I'm going to go here. And I believe this tutorial is taking a lot longer than I usually want it to, but I'm going to try and speed things up. When we get to the other side, to the other form, it's going to be a lot quicker. So this should be most of the code, I believe. I'm just going to check on that, confirm it.